Hi, I'm Jerry. Welcome to Getting Ready for Bed Yoga Flow. I hope that you're wearing something super comfortable. I'm in my jammies. What you might want for this yoga flow is a scarf or a belt, some kind of a tie, and something to sit on. Maybe a big thick pillow or a folded up blanket, something to lift your hips up so that sitting can be easy. So go ahead and take time to get what you need. Make sure you're super duper comfortable, and then we'll get started. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated position. Don't worry about sitting super tall. Just let yourself sit with ease in a way that is upright enough that you have room to breathe. We'll take our fingertips to the floor. You can keep your eyes open if you want to, or close them. Just notice the feeling of the ground under your fingers, the feeling of the cushion or blanket, whatever you're sitting on. And let yourself relax down into that feeling of the ground. The ground is supporting you. You're safe. You're supported. And as you sink down into that feeling of being grounded, you start to notice that you're breathing. Not trying to change the breath. Just notice it as it comes in and it leaves. And without being forceful with your breath, consider if you might gently nudge that breath toward being a little bit more even. Takes about the same amount of time to inhale as it takes to exhale. Inhale and exhale. And begin to consider if there's something about your day to day that you could be grateful for. Anything at all. Something that you saw, someone said. Maybe you saw something in nature or a sunbeam that sparkled and caught your eye. Maybe you have a pet at home that did something delightful. Something in your day, choose it, that you could be grateful for. And consider that gratitude is a feeling and something that you can experience in your body. And again, your eyes can be open or closed. But just consider this experience of gratitude, and if there's any specific location in the body where you can sense that feeling of gratitude. And as you breathe in and out in an even, steady way, just consider if you can breathe into that place of gratitude in a way that might feed it, that might give it a little bit more room to express itself. We're going to add an arm movement to this expression of gratitude in the body. So again, with your fingertips on the floor, feeling and noticing the ground. The next time you're ready to inhale, turn the palms up, reach up, lift the arms as though you're collecting that feeling of gratitude. And as the palms come together, bring that feeling of gratitude a little closer as your thumbs come to rest on the center of the upper chest. We'll do that 2 more times. Fingertips to the floor. As you breathe in, collecting that sense of gratitude. And as you breathe out through the nose, bringing the thumbs to the upper chest, bringing that feeling of gratitude a little bit closer, a little bit bigger. One more time, fingertips to the floor. Inhale, gratitude, lift it up. Gather it between the palms. And exhale, seeding that sense of gratitude right into the heart. Resting the thumbs there. Eyes might want to close. Just take a few breaths, sensing gratitude growing within the felt sense in the body. You're welcome to visit that sense of gratitude at any point in our practice this evening. Taking the fingertips back to the floor. With your next inhale, either arm can lift up over the head, and then exhale, tip over just enough to feel a sense of stretch in the side body. And we'll take 2 more breaths in this pose. Inhale into the upper ribs. Exhale, find a little release. Inhale into that upper rib cage. Exhale, find a little release. On the in-breath, engage the abdominals to safely come up out of the side stretch, and exhale your fingers back to the floor. Other side, breathing in to lift the arm. And exhale, tip over. Breathing into the upper side ribs. And exhale, let it ease. One more big breath there into the upper side ribs. Exhale, find some ease. Engage the abdominal muscles to come up. Exhale the fingertips to the floor. This time both arms rise. Inhale. Lace the fingers behind the neck. Give yourself a little traction. So use your hands to kind of lift the head up, draw the elbows back, and open up the chest a little bit. Deep breath in. And then as you exhale, fold the elbows in. Gently press the base of the skull into your fingers. And just give yourself a little bit of a stretch for the back of the neck. Inhale, open the elbows, lift the chest. Exhale, fold those elbows, kind of like a butterfly. One more time. Inhale, open the upper chest, elbows back. Exhale, fold. Just back to neutral this time with the neck, but take those laced fingers, palms up. And release the fingers as you exhale, bring those arms down. Making gentle fists circle out the wrists as you continue to breathe. Both directions. And then for just a few seconds, real quick, open and close the fingers. Kind of like twinkle, twinkle, little star. And then shake your fingers like little helicopters. And let that go. We're going to come onto our hands and knees. So you can move your pillow. Spread your fingers out nice and wide like little starfish on the floor. And as we breathe in, we're going to drop the belly and lift the chest, cow pose. As we breathe out, engage the abdominals, round the back, cat pose. Again, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Again, and then we'll add a child's pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Mind your knees. If they don't like to bend as deeply, stay in cat. If it's okay on the knees, take the hips back toward the heels in child's pose. Adding that to the flow. Inhale into the cow. Exhale, cat into child's pose. You might want to gently touch the forehead down on the floor here. Inhale into the cow. Exhale, cat into child's pose, perhaps touching the forehead down on the floor. One more time. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Into child's pose. Coming back onto all fours. We're going to come down onto our bellies. You can start by coming down onto the forearms and then just gently scooch one and then the other leg back so you can come onto the tummy. Mind your low back, so make sure your elbows are far enough forward so this back bend works for you. Easy does it. So on the forearms in Sphinx pose, we're going to do a little neck stretch. So as you breathe in, look out over one shoulder. As you exhale, roll the chin across the chest like a crescent moon. Inhale, look the other way. Exhale, roll the chin. Inhale, look the first direction. Exhale, roll the chin. Inhale, second direction. This time rolling down, keep the chin tucked, kind of like a mama cat picked up the baby cat by the scruff of the neck. Just let your chin hang and invite some stretch into the back of the neck for one more breath. And then we're going to come all the way down. Elbows wide, stack the palms, rest the forehead on the stacked palms for crocodile pose. And take a few breaths, just letting the entire body feel heavy and relaxed. You're welcome to stay here, especially if you have some issues with your knees. Or you can come back into child's pose for a little bit longer hold. So perhaps choosing to stay in the crocodile pose, or perhaps coming into a child's pose, you can rest your forehead on your hands here, or you can rest your forehead on the floor, or you can rest your forehead on your pillow. We'll be here for 6 deep breaths. And see if you can invite the breath into the back body so that you feel the breath in the back of your ribs, in the back lobes of your lungs. Not forcing, just finding an easy rhythm with the breath. Deep breaths. Feeling your back move. One more breath in this posture. And then gently come up onto your hands and knees to turn sideways. And then we're going to lie down on our backs. We'll start with the knees bent and the feet flat on the floor. Your knees are the same distance apart as your hip bones, and your palms are resting at the sides of the body. When you're ready to inhale, start to lift the hips off the floor, lifting the lower back, the bottom ribs, the middle ribs, pressing up for an easy bridge pose. As you exhale, lay the spinal bones back down, sensing how they go one at a time back into the floor, finding those little spaces between the vertebrae. We'll do that a few more times. So inhale, lift the hips and peel the spine up off the floor. The feet stay flat. Exhale, and one by one, the spinal bones find their way back down onto the floor. Let's do 2 more rolling bridge poses. Inhale, lift the hips and roll up. Exhale, lower the spine, one bone at a time. One more time. Inhale, articulating the back up. And exhale, easing it down. Pause. We're going to step the feet out a little bit wider than the hips and take the arms out like a capital T, palms up. Take a breath, and as you're ready to exhale, tip your knees both to one side like windshield wipers. The head's going to turn in the opposite direction from the knees. Inhale, head and knees center. And exhale, tip them over. Inhale, head and knees center. And exhale, tip them over. Inhale, head and knees center. And exhale, tip them over. This time, stay. And we'll take 2 deep breaths in this wide knee twist. Easy inhale. Evenly matched with your easy exhale. One more breath here. On your next inhale, knees and head center. Exhale to the second side and take 2 long, full breaths there. The inhale is the same length as the exhale. Your next inhale brings the knees up. Keeping the feet wide, turn the toes toward each other and let the knees prop each other up. If they don't touch, that's fine. We're going to cross the elbows all the way across the chest and let the forearms, wrists, and hands just hang loose. This is called decompression pose or constructive rest. So take a few breaths, just feeling the whole back side of the body against the floor, breathing, expanding, and resting. Notice that one of your elbows is closer to your chin. And if you want to, switch your arms so the other elbow is closer to your chin as you take 2 more deep breaths in this posture. Keeping the legs where they are for now, lift the arms over your chest so they sort of form a goalpost. You're holding opposite elbows. And if your shoulders are okay with it, lift that goalpost up by the head. It's fine if your arms don't land on the floor, and it's fine if your arms do land on the floor. If this is unwise for you, maybe you have a shoulder injury, then instead you can simply take your arms back out to that capital T shape. So either a capital T with the arms or a goalpost with the arms. And then letting the arms rest in the position that you've chosen, separate the knees, bring the bottoms of your feet together and let your knees fall open. And we'll take 3 deep breaths here. Now noticing the front and the sides of the ribs and how they can expand and relax with the breath. Breathing in expands the ribs, and breathing out relaxes the ribs and the tummy. And a couple more breaths on your own. Even inhale matches the evenness of the exhale. At the bottom of your next exhale, relax the arms down towards your knees so that your hands can actually help bring one and then the other knee back up and in toward the chest. Curling up in a little ball, rock a little bit from side to side, feeling the back body being massaged by the floor. And back in the center, we're going to take one foot flat to the floor, but keep the other knee in close. You can hold on to the shin or the back of the thigh, depending on what feels better to the knee. Just take a couple of breaths, letting that compression happen at the front of the hip and noticing the impact on the lower back. Use your breath to let the body relax. So here's where you might want your scarf, your belt, or your tie, whatever you've chosen. And we're going to take that prop across the arch of the foot. And as we breathe in, take that leg up toward the ceiling, any amount. And you decide how much strap you need. As you exhale, rebend the knee. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, straighten the knee, any amount. Exhale, bend it. 1 more of those. Inhale, straighten any amount. Exhale, bend it. Your appropriate stretch. So take it up. And then you may find that you want to climb your hands up your scarf or strap a little bit so that your elbows are straight and you can really just kind of let your arms hang. So don't hold on too tight, just tight enough that you've got a grip. But your shoulders and arms can hang heavy. Don't overwork. And as you breathe in this stretch, see if you can cultivate a sense of friendliness with your lifted leg. Perhaps you're all set here. Some of you might enjoy straightening your bottom knee, and that's totally fine if it doesn't put strain on the back. We'll take about 3 more breaths here. And this time as you're breathing, see if you can start to accentuate the exhale so it's just a tiny bit longer than the inhale. So your exhale starts to last just a little beat longer than your in-breath. And we'll take 1 more breath with this first leg in the air. Long exhale. So if you chose to straighten your bottom leg, go ahead and bend it again. Bend your lifted leg and release the strap. That lifted heel crosses the opposite thigh. Open and close that knee a few times and just notice the impact on the hips. And for some, this is enough stretch. You can keep your foot on the floor and then bring your palms to your thighs and just give a little pressure there. And that might be just the right stretch for you. For others, you might enjoy, so you've got 1 foot on the floor, you might enjoy putting your hands behind that thigh as you lift it in. A third option is to straighten the foot that just came off the floor and take the scarf across the arch, and you're holding on like you were before, but now you're in this figure 4 shape. So 3 options here. We'll take a couple more breaths, opening up through the hips. One more breath there. Make sure that you've found an expression that feels kind to the body. So if you are using your strap, release that, bending that knee and taking that foot back to the floor. Uncross. And before we do the other side, we're going to take a full body stretch. So straighten your knees. Your arms can either go out to capital T or up by the head. And a long full body stretch, wiggle, whatever feels good. Maybe you want to yawn. And perhaps you can even kind of notice that your 2 legs don't feel the same. Circle sweep the arms back down to the sides, bend 1 knee at a time. And here we go with the other side. So the first piece is the knee simply comes in toward the chest. So your second leg, you can hold the shin or the back of the thigh and just take a few breaths, letting that compression happen at the front of the hip and letting the low back relax. Couple of breaths there. And then you can use your scarf or your strap across the arch of the foot. 3 times straightening and bending. Inhale as you straighten any amount. Exhaling as you bend. Inhale to stretch up through the leg. And exhale to bend. One more time. And after that third time, we're going to keep the leg in the air. Again, it doesn't have to be fully straight. Whatever is kind to your leg, cultivate that friendliness with your body. If you want to straighten your bottom knee, that's also an option. It's not better, it's just different. And again, you can climb your hands up the scarf until your elbows are straight and your arms just hang there, not overworking. We'll take a couple more breaths, starting to sense that we can make the exhale last just a little bit longer than the inhale. One more breath there, exaggerating the exhale just a little bit. So if you straightened your bottom leg, bend it. Bend your top knee so you can release the strap and then cross the heel over the opposite thigh. Open and close that knee a few times just to get a sense of what's going on in your hips this evening. And then perhaps thigh open and hands just gently pressing on the thighs. Maybe that's the perfect pose for you tonight. That's option A. Option B is the foot that's on the floor, pick that one up, hands behind that thigh, figure 4 stretch. Option C is to take your scarf across the arch of the lifted foot and have sort of an extended leg figure 4 shape. All good choices. All are impacted with the slow rhythm of your breath. So invite your awareness back to the breath as you expand some space into your hip. Relax your head and neck on the floor. Just imagine that your jaw doesn't need to hold tension. Give your jaw permission to unhinge. And take one more breath there. Bending the knee to release the strap if you're using one. Feet back to the floor, one at a time. And once again, we'll do that full body stretch. One leg at a time straightens. Again, you have the option of capital T arms or arms up by your ears so you make sort of a sharp pencil shape. Feel free to wiggle, yawn, stretch. You might want to point and flex the feet a few times. Just enjoy stretching to your full length. Circle sweep the arms and gather one and the other knee back in toward the chest. We're going to find happy baby pose. So the knees are going to come to the outsides of the ribs and then unfold just enough so that your shin bones are straight up and down. And then you can hold on to the backs of the legs, or maybe you can reach and hold the bottoms of the feet to snug those knees a little bit closer to your armpits. In happy baby pose, it might feel fun to rock from side to side, or maybe you prefer to be still. Whatever suits you this evening, and take a few breaths there. Back in the center. We're going to bring the bottoms of the feet together and the knees open wide. Be careful not to overstretch the outer ankles here. So keep a little bit of tension in the flexed feet so that you don't tug on the feet and overstretch those ankle ligaments. You could even cross your hands and hold that way if that felt safer to your ankles. So we're inviting the heels toward the pelvis and the knees open for a bound angle pose. Take a few moments there, opening through the fronts of the hips. And you feel free to wiggle or even rock a little bit. A couple more breaths there. And then once again, bring your knees toward one another, curling up in a little ball. And if it suits the neck, you can lift the chin toward the knees a little bit. Maybe you want to set your head back down and stay curled up in a little ball. Or maybe it would feel good to your spine to rock up and down the spine vertically. Please don't do this if it doesn't feel good to your back. A little bit of rocking up and down the spine if that feels good. Maybe one more time. And we're going to do a little seated forward fold. Here's where you might want your strap and your pillow. So I'm going to straighten my legs. I'm going to set this is actually a loop. So if you have a scarf that's a loop, if you're pretty tight, you could use the loop of the scarf. Depends on what you have. And then the pillow can actually go on your legs. So I'm going to take the strap across the bottoms of my feet, whatever length works for you. And first I'm going to find a little bit of a lift in my chest, a little bit of a straight back, deep breath. And as I exhale, I'm going to start to hinge forward just a little bit at my hip joints. So I'm not rounding my back yet, but I'm folding up my hips. And as I inhale, I expand my chest long through the back. And as I exhale, I hinge a little deeper at the hips. If you're more flexible, you won't want this pillow, and that's totally fine, but this is an option if you're a little snug in the back body. So take a deep breath. And this time we're going to start to round just a little bit, letting the chin drop. And I'm going to start to breathe from my tailbone all the way up to the base of my skull on my in-breath. And as I exhale, I'm going to let that soften from the base of my skull all the way down to my tailbone. Inhaling from the tailbone up to the base of the skull. Exhale from the base of the skull down through the tailbone. One more, actively breathing up the spine and down the spine. And then I'm just going to find an easy way to rest here with a round back, but still feeling that breath in my back body. I'm adding a little bit of rock because that feels soothing to me. You might prefer to be still. We'll be here for 3 more breaths, opening up through the back. And if your forehead matches or meets your pillow easily, you could rest it there, but do not force. We'll take one more easy breath in this forward fold. And then take your time coming up. So first align the low back and then roll up kind of like you rolled up in bridge pose, so that the ears are not going to come up until everything else has come into place. Once upright, just take a moment to notice the length of the back, the places that found a little more room. If you have a pillow on your legs, go ahead and move it. Bending the knees, take the feet flat to the floor and take the palms behind you with the fingers either pointed out to the side or toward the hips. Squeeze the elbows a little bit toward each other and just pop the chest open a little bit. You can rock a little bit. This is a little bit of a wrist stretch, so make sure that works for you. You are welcome to stay here, or if it suits you, no strain, keep it easy. If it suits you to lift the hips in a reverse tabletop, that's an option to give a final little stretch to the front body, the chest, the wrists. Just one breath there, and then set the hips back down. And we're going to come back onto our seat on our pillow for just a few final moments together. Remembering that sense of gratitude that you brought into your body. Rest one hand on your heart, the other hand on your belly. You can close the eyes if that's comfortable for you. And take a few breaths, imagining that the inhale starts at the hand touching your belly and resolves at the hand touching your heart. And the exhale goes from your heart back down to your belly. Inhaling from your belly to your heart. Exhaling from your heart to your belly. Continuing to breathe between your two hands. Sensing that you are safe. You are well. You are home. Perhaps literally home, perhaps home inside yourself. But there is a sense of home, safety, calm, and wellness. And in all of that, know that you are loved. When you're ready, bring your two palms together with your thumbs resting at your heart center. And I hope that tonight you rest well and that your dreams are sweet and your pillows are soft. Good night and namaste.